Hello everyone, welcome to Red Best US channel. In this video, we'll look at the Trump's executive order to end the birthright citizenship and how it impacts the non-immigrant visa holders like H1B and others. In fact, there's been a court order that has come in just now. So we'll look at that as well towards the end. I will look at the past decisions as well, what has been said, and then take it from there. So if you look at the main, this is what we'll cover in today's video. We look at everything across from the basics to the past decisions and look at them as well. So the main reason for having this exec order is this what was published on day one of Trump in office. So this was published in White House website, so you can check that as well. Now, coming to what's the Trump exec order on the ending the birthright citizenship, right? So the language can be reasonably technical, but in short, right, what it tells is not everybody can get U.S. citizenship just because they were born in the U.S. And they're interpreting the 14th Amendment, and what they have released is two clauses saying that if the person during the birth was born to an illegal status mother, basically undocumented immigrant, right, and the person father was not a US citizen or a permanent resident, or a green card holder technically, right, they will not get US citizenship. The second one is if the person's mother was present in the US legally, meaning on a visa, but on a temporary visa, right, and the person's father was not a US citizen or a permanent resident, then they won't get the citizenship. Again, this is basically where people have been exploiting the B1, B2 route and doing birth tourism and all of that, right? So that's why. But unfortunately, this also impacts H1Bs and all of that who are in temporary work visa. So that's why. So that's what the exec order says in summary. And in fact, it's titled Protecting the Meaning and Value of American Citizenship, right? So this is the exact text. If you see the text, right, this is what they say, the reason for doing this: mother's presence, visiting United States, student, work, tourist visa. So they clearly tell that students like F1 visa and all of that fall under that, and work visa means H1B, L1, all of that. Tourist visa is B1, B2, right? So all of these, right? So they're lawful, but on these, right? So as per the policy, this is the actual language: person's mother is unlawfully present in the US, and father is not a permanent resident, and mother's presence in the US lawful but temporary. So this is the exact text. You can read that. We'll give a link in the description to the article, which has all this information. Yeah. So now coming to, does it really apply to H1 L1s? Yeah, obviously yes. So these are the list of, visa types, who it all applies to. Temporary work visa holders, right, and dependents, H1B, H4, L1, others, right. There are a lot of visas out there. We're just highlighting some of them so that you are aware of them. But the list is pretty significant, right. Students, F1, F, Js, Ms, research scholars, all of that, right. Temporary visitors, B1, B2, all of them. Undocumented immigrants or illegal immigrants, who basically cross the border without a visa or not really having a status, right? And taking, all the non-immigrant visa holders. It's a blanket statement, but again, these are just examples of it. That's how it is, right? The effective date of this is actually 30 days from the signing date, which is it was signed on January 20th. So it will be effective February 19th. Again, this will change because we have a temporary order right now. We'll look at that towards the end. Now, so let's say if this goes through, then technically all children born on or after February 19th will not get citizenship directly. They need to qualify based on the restrictions that the executive order says. Now let's look at take a step back and look at what the U.S. Constitution 14th Amendment says, right? So as per the Constitution, right, Section 1, so it clearly tells, this is, as you can see on the screen, it's very simple, right? All persons born or naturalized in the US and subject to US jurisdiction of US, basically thereof means of the US, right, are citizens of United States and the state wherein they reside. So that's it. This is crystal clear, and this has been interpreted, in many ways, right? So what has happened is, if you interpret that, there are only two sets of people who do not fall under US jurisdiction. The first one is diplomats who are born to foreign diplomats. I said technically they have a diplomatic immunity, so they are not under jurisdiction. So that's the first set. And second one is lawful foreign military soldiers, right? Let's say there is a war and people are fighting, right? And these are lawful, not illegal foreign military soldiers, lawful ones. So they enjoy combatant immunity as per Geneva Convention, all of that, right? So that's why they are not fall under that. So technically, if you are not part of these two sets of people, any child born to anybody else, even they are legal, illegal immigrant, whoever it is, right, they all will get citizenship. That's what it is. Now, in terms of, I mean, like, this is actually, clear based on the past, Supreme Court decisions, right? So this is, 1898, so one of the most quoted cases and probably the most read cases is this case called United States versus Wong Kim Ark. So in short, it is important to understand this because this will really change the arguments when it goes into the court, right? So, I mean, Wong Kim Ark was Chinese, he was born to Chinese citizens, right? At that time, and they were doing business in California, right? So that is a pretext. And then when he was born there, he was raised, when he was like 18 or so, right? About maybe 18ish or so, right? Or even before. So first time he left US on a temporary visit. When he was coming back to the US, he was allowed. But the second time he was not allowed, saying that he was not a US citizen. So then this went to the Supreme Court and all in all, right? And then they gave a judgment saying that as per the 14th Amendment of the US Constitution, Wong Kim Ark is a citizen. So here, if you look at it, this is basically like telling that parents do not have to be US citizens or permanent residents to get the citizenship. So this has been interpreted in many cases, but and this is like a huge decision that has used all across the place. So there are a couple more. This is the actual, case, right? I will give a link to the article that has all these references. So it's the actual court opinion, right? You can see, right, and this is a summary where it tells, right, all children born parents of Chinese descent residing in US becomes a time as per 14th Amendment. You can read this, right? So yeah, it's a 54-page document actually. It's worth reading if you are into understanding more on this, right? So there are two more cases that you can look at in Supreme Court, right? One is the Plyler and Doe. This is actually not directly about birthright citizenship, but actually this was rights for undocumented immigrants, right? So this is basically to provide equal rights to the undocumented immigrant citizens. So this directly doesn't say that, but they just references 14th Amendment and justifies that even you're a illegal immigrant, you enjoy all the privileges of US citizen because you are born US citizen. That's the kind of rationale it will make through, right? So that's the idea. The other one is Elk versus Vikings. This is 1884 case. In this, where apart from those two that we just discussed, right, Native Americans were not a part of birthright because they had their own sovereign tribes, jurisdiction, whatever, right? So this was also changed as part of 1924 Indian Citizenship Act. Again, this is not Indian. This is American Indians, right? Native Americans, right? So those are the Indians, right? So they're all and they from them they also started to get this. So technically, all these three cases are telling that this Trump executive order is not logical, right? So just if you interpret that, right, in the first case, they reference both parents were not resident during the person's birth. So if you apply to this to the work visa holders or students, student visa holders, right, all of these work visa holders or temporary work visa holders, they all fall in the exact scenario because living in the US and either working or studying, right, all of these. So technically, if they interpret the same case, this is a slam dunk, right, and the case is actually dismissed. So in the second case, it's not directly related, but what it emphasizes is kids of undocumented immigrants will also become US citizens because they are subject to jurisdiction. So it's a jurisdiction clarification. So they also get equal rights. So this also is a very, very good argument that the courts will provide. The third one is basically this one clarifies who all do not fall under this, and only diplomats and foreign soldiers kids, right? So this is what it clarifies. So in summary, right, looking at all of these above referenced cases, right, you can just tell that the chances of this executive order succeeding in courts are very limited. In fact, there is already an order blocking it. But yeah, again, this even if it goes further, this is what we can expect. Now, again, what has been done so far? I think since within this week, there are 20 Democratic states, over 20 of them sued, and ACLU blocked also for the filed cases around this to block this, right? So, as of today, just now, federal judge temporarily blocked this order, and it applies nationwide. There were crazy comments telling that, how in the world, somebody wrote this exec order, what are they doing, somebody from bench and all, right? So the judge was pretty critical about, the guys writing this. So in fact, he was a Republican nominated judge also. It's not like there is a favorism also here, right? To be fair, right? And this is valid for 14 days at the moment. And so this prevents the Trump administration to take any steps to implement this, right? And there's also another hearing scheduled on February 6th. So, if this needs to be permanently blocked or even blocked for long term while the case. So most of these legal cases are dragged for years. So, you can't really get away from it, right? So this is part of judicial system. So here is the, update on the news, right? Just now came in from NPR, all of these places you can see this. So we'll do another video, on these cases as well and all of that. But for now, it's actually like a positive news, right? That the executive order is got initial blocking from this. So we'll keep you posted on how it goes. Again, thank you for watching. Do subscribe for getting regular updates.